So these are the two thermostats you're gonna need to buy. It comes with a oil filler seal and the thermostat seal too, and they sell it on Merchant Automotive. First thing you're gonna want to do is drain your coolant. There's a plug right up there. I don't like to take the cap off when I do drain the coolant, because if you do, it'll shoot all over the place, and if you leave the cap on, it'll come out slow, but it's not going to get everywhere. The next thing I'm going to do is take the resonator off. I have to do a Pcv reroute too while I'm doing this. The next thing I'll be doing is taking the belt off, and these 4 bolts to the AC compressor and this clip. To take this off, you just get a 1/2-inch ratchet and you pry on the tensioner until the belt slips off. So I got the belt off. I just let it sit down in there. In the 4 bolts. There's actually another connector I didn't realize, but I'm just going to take the compressor and set it over on top of the battery. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 bolts out, right here and right down here for the oil filler neck. I went ahead and put a rag in both the resonator and the oil fill plug so I don't get anything in there while I'm working on this. So next I'm going to take off this bolt and this bolt here. Also, a good idea when you're doing this is to squeeze this, because this will get all the water out. You can hear it running out. Because when you take this apart, you don't want water going all over your engine or coolant. So next thing you want to do is take these off. There's a little clip back here that kind of secures them, and if you don't take that, it's really hard to get this one out. So now that I got the wires disconnected, there was 1 bolt down there, 1 bolt here, and 1 bolt way back there that held this bracket on to hold these wiring harnesses, and I had to take those off so I could get to this back bolt on the coolant pipe. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take these 4 bolts out on the thermostat housing and this one on the back side, and I should be able to pry that off. So now I've removed my old thermostat housing. I'm going to clean this thing up with some Scotch-Brite so I can install it. So I've removed the old thermostat housing. There was some corrosion around this one, and this one was stuck in there pretty good. Oh, there's a little bit of corrosion on this one too, so it's probably my problem. So now I'm going to scuff this with some Scotch-Brite and take that old O-ring off and replace that. So now I've got this all cleaned up. I used this red Scotch-Brite on both. You can usually get that at AutoZone, or not AutoZone, Advanced Auto. Might be able to get it at AutoZone, but that's the right way to do it. You don't want to use one of them whiz wheels. Put a microfiber towel down in there to collect any dust and debris that might come from using the Scotch-Brite, and I cleaned the coolant pipe too, because the seal goes on that, and doing all this, it really is going to ensure that you have a good seal and nothing's going to leak. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil on the seal and just put it on the coolant pipe. So now the seal is installed. I'm not going to oil these seals because these ones just kind of sit down in there. So I got the 2 thermostats in there. The one in the back has to have the back holes pointing to the rear of the engine, and the one in the front doesn't really matter. So I slid the housing on. I'm just going to put a bolt in that, and then bolt these 4 bolts back down. So now I got it all bolted back together. I'm going to go put the coolant plug back in and fill it with coolant and make sure there's no leaks, and then put everything back together if it's all good to go. The PCV out, the Pcv Line. And this one, I'm just going to cut it right about here. It's a metal line, so it's already got an angle in it. So this one I'm just going to run right out the back side, or on the passenger side. And then this one I'm going to put a 90-degree elbow on, because it's got a little, it's going the opposite way. And then I'm going to run this one out the back on the driver's side. So this is what the driver's side ends up looking like to make it fit. So this is what I came up with for the driver's side. PCV in, just routed down to the frame. Now we got the passenger side PCV routed down too. Now I put a 7/8 chair end cap on my turbo mouthpiece, and I'm going to put a hose clamp on that. So now I've got these bolts put back in. Make sure you get that one in before you put this all together, or you're going to have to take it all back apart. So now I got the bracket back together and the wiring harnesses back together. Put a new seal on the oil fill tube. Now I'm ready to put the AC compressor back on. And finally, I'm gonna put the belt back on and the resonator and start it up and see how she runs. So now I'm gonna start the truck up and check for leaks. Letting it run for a little bit with the cap off, let any air out that might be in there. So I'm about to take my truck for a test drive to see how hot it's going to get, because it used to sit a tick past where it is right now, and the heat didn't used to work the best. So these are the reasons I went ahead and did the thermostats, because I figured they probably needed it. I've been driving around for about 20 minutes now, and the temperature went up very quickly. I've never seen it this high unless it was a summer day and it was really hot and I had the AC on or something. Pretty much it with this job. Not too hard. The next video I'll be posting will probably be an HSP-Y bridge. I'm going to do an EGR delete with a PP up pipe, 2-inch.